Hey, this is Sreehari from Mr. Phone, and today I do look a little bit different, but the one thing that I learned is don't put your beard as collateral. But with that, we begin this video. Today we're taking a look at the Tecno Camon i4. This is the latest phone, and the most interesting feature, as you can see, is the triple camera setup at the back. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. Of course, before that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that, and also hit the bell icon right next to it so that you get notified for all the videos that we put out. So the first thing that I talk about is the design. So Tecno phones in the past haven't really stood out for their design, but this one looks really beautiful. It has that rainbowy effect that the Samsung Galaxy A50 has or the Vivo Nex had, and there is another layer on it as well. There is this honeycomb dot matrix type layer at the back. You can see that in this close-up shot, and that adds a layer of beauty to it. The Tecno Camon i4 does look quite beautiful even in this black color. Apart from that, another thing that I noticed with the design is that this is a really light phone. It has a 3500 mAh battery inside, but it's quite light for that size, probably because plastic has been used for most parts of the phone. But if you are into light phones, then you might like this one. Now from the design, let's move on to the display. So the display on the Tecno Camon i4 is a 720p plus display. It's an IPS LCD panel. It's a lower resolution than I would have liked, but the thing is that the quality of the panel is really good. Now with Tecno phones in the past, I have had some issues with color shifts or color temperature, but this one is really good, and Tecno has clearly improved on the display quality because I quite like the quality of the display that the Tecno Camon i4 possesses. Now another part in the display that I notice is that it has, of course, the water drop, teardrop notch. They call it the dot notch. I don't know for what reason, but they do. Now, the one thing that I noticed is that the bezels, the side bezels, the top bezels are slightly thicker than other phones in this price range. Now, that's not too big of a difference, and you will only notice it if you compare it to others. But the one thing that you will notice, even if you don't compare, is the size of the chin. The size of the chin is really large, and it's among the largest in the under 20,000 price range. Now, I don't know if that's a deal breaker. It wouldn't be a deal breaker to me because I would never buy a phone with a notch. But if it is for you, let me know in the comment section if a big chin is a deal breaker for you. Now we come to software, and the Tecno Camon i4 actually runs Android 9 Pie and with their proprietary iOS skin on top. Now with Android 9 Pie, the first thing that I notice is it looks visually stunning. Tecno has worked on their software quite a bit. I've unboxed and taken a look at Tecno phones for a while, and over the years I think Tecno has really worked on how the OS looks. So this looks quite good. On the left you find a feed that's not something I'm a big fan of, but it's there if you want to use it because you have quick apps, you have a few functions in the phone, like if you want to freeze a few apps, if you want to get a RAM boost, you can do all those things. Also, a few visual elements that were there in previous Tecno phones that I loved a lot are still here, like this. When you do this brightness slider and change the brightness, there is this dial at the left that rotates, and it's really fun to do. It's quite addictive as well. Now this being Android 9 Pie, you also get a few other navigation methods apart from the standard one where you have three buttons: the back button, the home button, and the recent key button. You have the popular gestures, so swipe up from the center of the button to go home, swipe up from the right to go back, and swipe up from the left to go to the recents menu. You also have a third pill navigation, that is the one that we found with Pixel phones, where you have a pill at the center that you can use to switch between apps. So you can use the pill to interact with your recent apps, and you have the back navigation button as well. Now you can actually choose between three navigation gestures, which is really good. There are a lot of apps installed in this phone even without me having to put my accounts in. So there are all the standard Google apps installed, but apart from that you have apps like Instagram, you have Opera News, you have PHX browser, you have WhatsApp, all of them pre-installed in this phone. You also have a game called Danger Dash. All of them are pre-installed on this phone. Most of them are something that you might need on a daily basis, but others that you don't are still here. You can't do anything about them. Now another thing that I have to talk about with the Tecno Camon i4, and something that a lot of people miss, even I could have missed, is the quality of wallpapers inside this phone. The stock wallpapers on this phone are freaking amazing. All of them, like each and every one of these wallpapers is something I would rock without a second thought. Clearly, some of them are inspired by a lot of other brands, but still Tecno's spin on it is quite beautiful and maybe in a lot of sense better than the ones that we saw from the original brands. Take a look at these wallpapers. I don't know if I can make a zip out of them and send it to you. Now we move to the camera. So the triple camera setup at the back, a marquee feature for a lot of people. So the standard sensor is a 13 megapixel f1.8 lens, f1.8 good aperture, good low light capabilities probably, but we'll have to test that out. You have a secondary sensor which is a 2 megapixel depth sensor which will be there for the bokeh purposes, and the third lens is an ultra wide lens. It's an 8 megapixel ultra wide 120 degree wide angle lens. Wide angle lenses are catching on like anything, and every other phone in the market has a wide angle lens in the phone, and so does this one. So the selfie camera on this is a 16 megapixel lens. Here are a few pictures that we took using the back and the front camera, a few samples from the wide angle, a few samples from the standard lens, and of course the selfies. So let me know what you think of these pictures. This is not a full review, so I won't be giving you my thoughts. I'll be reserving them for the full review, of course, if you want to see that. Now, the one thing that we missed is the processor, and that is the one thing I think that clearly holds this phone back. The processor inside is a Helio P22. It's not a very powerful chip. It is among the chips that's used in budget phones. Also, it comes with 4 gigs of RAM, 64 GB storage, all the standard stuff. You get a micro SD card slot inside, so you can do that as well. Helio P22 is not a processor that's meant for gaming. It's quite a budget-oriented processor. Since my boot, I have not installed a lot of apps on it, so it does work fine and it's smooth, but we'll have to test out if the thing is really fast when a lot of other apps are installed, all the standard one, and if heavy games can be played on this phone. That is something we'll have to test out. Let me know if you want me to test that out in a full review. But that is all from me for this video. Please let me know what you thought of the Tecno Camon i4 in the comment section below. If there's any feedback that you want to give me for this video or other videos, let me know that in the comment section as well. We also have a Hindi channel going on, so go and subscribe to that. I'll have a card linked here. Go and subscribe to the channel. There are new videos coming up every week. There is Tech Samachar in Hindi that's going on twice a week, and we have other videos as well. Also, if there are videos on this channel that you want to see in Hindi, then let us know in the comment section. If there are a lot of people who want it, we will make a video in Hindi for that phone. So with that, I leave you to it. Thank you so much for watching. This is Sreehari from Mr. Phone with the Tecno Camon i4, and I'll catch you in the next one.